Good evening, brothers and sisters. Thank you. That's what I've got to say for picking me up again. I wasn't low, but again, had a kicking. But I'm just looking at the comments and the encouragement both on Discord and on YouTube. On the comments, it's been the best set of comments we've had, other than the bot that keeps putting girly things on. I try to deal with that, guys. I don't know quite how to do that yet, but I'll work on that when I put it down. We've got that going on. We're under attack. It's going to come from everyone. It's going to come from inside and out. But I was contemplating, looking at it. I mean, we know we're on the 10th, and actually it's the 11th in Israel now. So, I don't know. I've got the book out that I write all my bank details in and everything for anybody left behind. All my accounts and everything, so they can get. I always leave it open when it's on a high watch day. And I sit and think, what Lord do you want me to do? What really, it's not about me at all. This is the second video going out today, guys. Okay, so I'm coming back on form. It's in its easiest format. But I was looking back at my life, because I'm 65 tomorrow, midnight, in a few hours here. I'm 65 years I've been on the face of this planet. I'm only a decade of war away from being born in the last war. I've come through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And it's been peculiar. And I was reflecting in prayer about people I've prayed for a long time. And I say that as a well up a bit, to be honest. And I'm sure we've all been there. We've lost a lot of good friends. Not lost. They've gone home before us. And I long to be home. Long to be home. Excuse me. But it's taken a lifetime to get me to this place. I haven't been doing this for a lifetime. I've been doing this for a year and a half. I've been on YouTube for a decade, but only out for the Lord for a year and a half. And He's taken us through some amazing things. And I expect the trolls and the damning. It's just that it's more visible now. And sometimes it doesn't hurt. It's just, it confuses me. I'm not going to go into this, by the way. It just confuses me how we can't all pull together. But it's never been any different. Why did I expect? I'm just seeing it on a bigger volume. But King David, I'm looking back at what others did and thinking, how blessed I am. I missed a war. I haven't had a war. Yeah, I've been on the outskirts of all the wars, right back to Korean, Vietnam, the Middle East wars. I've never been involved. I've even had military time, but I've never actually gone to war. I've never been made to go to war. So I'm blessed. But I'm looking at, King David and Joseph. What did King David go through? Do you think it was easy to go and cut the head off a giant? Do we ever sit down there? And he walked out in front of the lions of his brothers in the lines. He was only bringing food. He was a little shepherd boy and couldn't stand what this giant was saying, and went out and thought, I can kill lions. I'll go out and kill this idiot. Cut his head off. Whoa. Boy, if I had it easy. Joseph, being thrown down the well by his family, by his brothers and sisters. I was brought up in a family of 6 children and a family of 8 with my mother and father, who went through awful sibling rivalry. And I'm the only one that came to Christ. The only one out of them all. And the youngest, by the way. So I know a little of how Joseph felt, but not being totally rejected and thrown to die. The only time I was rejected was because none of them believe and they all think I'm a lunatic, which is fine. But I invited them all to when I was baptized 35 years ago, or whenever it was. And they all must have been talking, because within half an hour, they'd all rang me for a reason why they couldn't go. And I was quite upset at the time. And the Lord just picked me up, as He always does. And as He's done and will do until I die. And we're talking about Moses. I haven't got to the most important yet. Moses, look what he went through. He had to go back to Pharaoh. He was a murderer. He was wanted in the land, and he had to go back to Pharaoh because God asked him to. And yeah, he whinged. We all do that. But he did, didn't he? And of course, our beloved Jesus, who was there at the beginning, who was created. Whatever he is God. I don't understand it fully, to be honest with you, until I get home. But he is God. And he came at creation, and everything was created for him and through him. And he loves it so much that he came to change it. And he died at the hands of those he loved. And he rose again. And we will rise again. Now this is the message before I go much further, that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you're saved. Eternal damnation is not yours anymore. But you've got to pick up your cross, because we all have to. It doesn't say it's going to be easy. It just says his yoke is light. I'm sorry, but it is just me contemplating today. No more hype about end times. Not today. I am a watchman. I'll get back into it, start looking through prophecy and news. Definitely. Along came Paul, a Jew, a zealous Jew who persecuted Christians, who was there for the stoning of Stephen, the first Christian martyr, held the coats, who himself was beheaded. Paul, because he fell in love with Jesus. Jesus appeared to him. Peter, the awkward one, a bit like myself, kept spitting the dummy out, but he went and did the work and was crucified upside down. And then I come to someone dear to me, who I haven't seen for a few years, but when I came to the Lord around in my 16s, I was 16, a lifetime ago, I knew a lad at the same time. I used to borrow my mum's car and we'd go to all the meetings, anything we could find Christian. The two of us were totally in love with the Lord. And he got married, Eddie, and had his wife, and he had a child. But, I found out sometime, he went off to work with the Church of England, went off to become a vicar, and loved the Lord. And then I had a report some years afterwards that his wife and his child died of cancer. Sometimes you have to sit and contemplate, and that's what I was contemplating. But look what Joseph had to go through. Look, David, Jesus himself, God, had to go through, and we whinge. Wow. And the fella who brought me Christ, my, if you like, spiritual father, Roy Venables, whispering in the van when I was a young man, I was working for him, respected him because he was a boss, my boss. He actually died of cancer at 40, stomach cancer. My closest friend ever in life was a guy called Bob Edgell, who I worked in the deliverance with. He was the one who I used to bring them to. A warrior and a closest friend died last year. He went before me, but he died of old age. He was in his 70s. And I must go and see Linda, his wife. So many people have come and gone in my life, and so many people have come. So many new people, new faces. I'm looking at some of the comments now, and I thank Danny Mack. Matthew 18:21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brothers sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 77 times. Unlimited times we must forgive each other. If we pull this off, if we can do this together, which is highly unlikely, we can move mountains. Our wars are not against flesh and blood. They're against powers and principalities. The ruler of this world, Satan, Lucifer, Satan. Let's get it right. He was Lucifer, he fell. And I take note at this point that not even Michael will say a word against him. That's how we should act. in our behaviour. We should pull together in one accord. If someone has chosen to be a leader, follow that leader and give him all you've got. All you've got. I'm not saying give me all you've got, because I don't see myself as a leader, because in the kingdom, the most is the least. Jesus came to wash feet. He came to serve, not to be served. And I'm here to serve, not to be served. To be a servant is the only way to conquer the enemy. To be humble and in love, the enemy can't stand it. I can assure you that. You show love and forgiveness, he's got not a foothold in your life. If we could do it as one, and the only place I know is through these screens and this environment that God knew was coming at this end time to bring people together. We have brought 2,679 people together on Discord, link in the description. 19,532 people on YouTube. If we could only agree, if we could only knuckle down, and instead of going, this is the one, our Father which art in heaven, turn from it, no matter how much we get angered. I've been angry, I get angry. And a brother Frank shared with us, wise man, wise brother of mine, pray for them for 7 days. If someone winds you up, pray for them for 7 days. Love them for 7 days. We couldn't counsel anyone in the healing ministry until they respected us. They will never respect you until you first love them. Jesus first loved. It's an example. Brothers and sisters, thank you for being patient as I get back on my feet and start going at it again. I don't know where I'm going at the moment, because I'm sitting here with everything written out, waiting again to go home just in case we get it right. The people I'm watching get it right. My own theories bringing me to this point. I know it's soon. I know it's so soon. There's people leaving messages. I won't name them, but knee is in bone to bone, but just wants to go home. But it's hang on. Stay strong. In the Lord, you are doing his will. See, and remember, Lenoa, I think you said that, and you're right, because the enemy will attack me, of course. And anybody, Barry Scarborough, Tim Henderson, name them, Chelsea Bedell, Watchman on the Wall, look what they've gone through. All our stats are down, by the way. To name all of them, Roddy D, The Return of the King, Brenda Waltner. All of us are getting attacked on YouTube. YouTube stats are down. But it's not just us, I want to comfort that. It's secular people as well. YouTube's on a purge. It's fine. We see our channels go up, God bless, and then down it goes as they start. Oh no, we don't want that, we don't want that, we don't want that. That happens. But it's the end times, isn't it? When it's so effective. But brothers and sisters, I'm not going to whinge. I'm an old man tomorrow. Okay? I still can't technically retire for another year here because they changed the date. Goodness knows they'll change it again. So I must continue unless we go home before that. I will leave you with that and say, may God bless you, keep you, make his face to shine upon you, and be gracious to you. Stay strong, brothers and sisters. Stay strong. God bless.